Hello, it's Monica from Crafting with Quilling Lady, and I hope you have absolutely fabulous day. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to create an autumn scene pop-up cut with no cutting dice, and spoiler alert, it is super easy to create. So if you want to join me here, please feel inspired. I've got 6 by 12 inches white card. I'm going to fold it in half and burnish it. And that will be my card base. Super quick and simple. Now we have to decorate the inside of the card. I'm going to use that beautiful color. And I'm going to cut it to the size 5 and 3/4 by 5 and 3/4 of an inch. Then I decided to use some green design paper, and I'm going to cut it to 5.5 by 5.5 of an inch. When they are ready, now I'm going to assemble them using my one and only liquid glue, because I do have time to maneuver all those elements. If you haven't seen my previous pop-up cards, I'm going to link them at the end of this video. So this is my last video in that pop-up autumn theme cards. So if you like those, I really hope you'll feel inspired and create your own version. The whole trick here is to use whatever is in your stash. So here I've got those panels ready inside of my card. Now we can create a mechanism for that autumn scene pop-up card. So I've got the panel measuring 4.25 by 8 inches. And first I'm going to score it at 4 inches all the way down. Then I'm going to rotate it and score at 3.75 all the way down. When this is ready, then you can either add the color first, or you can cut the flaps. But this always have to go until you reach the score line. Now I'm going to fold it and burnish using my scoring tool. Super quick and simple, right? And I decided for that element to be a bush in my card. So I'm going to add some green colors. If you want, you can also use some green card as well, and that'll be perfectly fine. So I've got this scrap piece of paper underneath, and I'm going to use 3 Distress Oxide Inks in Lucky Clover, Evergreen Bow, and Pine Needles. I'm going to use my ink blending tool to apply all the colors here. But I'm not worried about how precise I have to be. I really want the organic look. That's why I've got 3 greens, and I'm not very worried if I can see darker or lighter or even some lines here. That is not the case. I really want them because in the end it's going to be a bush. To add even more interest to that element, I decided to add some warm colors as well. Because in the end, it is autumn season. And for this one, I'm also going to use 2 Distress Oxide inks. This one is Tea Dye and also Round Espresso. And I'm going to add those colors here as well. So in the end, it is going to look like proper autumn bush. Do you like to add distress oxide inks to your elements on the card? Please let me know in the comments down below. And again, I'm not very worried if it's going to be blended beautifully. That is not the case here. I'm just applying the color here and there, and then with the excess of the green distress oxide ink on my ink blending tool, I'm going to smooth some of the colors here. But I'm not very precise again. So when this is ready, then you can use your scissors to cut that bush. As you can see, I don't really need any cutting dice. And I do encourage you to use whatever is in your stash. The whole trick here is to have a heavyweight card. 200 GSM or 250 or 300 will work really well. Now I'm going to adjust the shape on that side, and it's nearly ready. All I have to do first, I'm going to place it inside of my card and see if it fits. The whole trick here is going to be the lining up of the scoring line inside of the card and the panel. Now I'm going to cut the excess of the flaps, and I'm going to use my liquid glue. Super quick and simple. But before you move on to the next step, you have to make sure the glue is set. That is the whole trick. So first I'm going to put that one side at an angle and the flap is going to touch the top of my card, and the scoring line inside of my panel is going to line up with the scoring line inside of my card. And that's how it looks, super quick and simple, right? So what do you think? Do you like it? I really hope you do. Now I'm going to create a bush that is going to be at the front. So I've got the panel measuring 2 inches by 10 inches, and now I'm going to score it at 5 inches, and then rotate it and score it at 1.5 of an inch all the way down. And I'm going to repeat the same process. So I've got my scrap piece of paper, 3 distress oxide inks, and I'm going to apply the color. If you want, you can also use some design paper for your card as well. Have you ever created an autumn theme card? If you have, what did you use? Please let me know in the comments down below. I really wanted to use what I had literally on my desk. That's why I created that series. And if you enjoy it, I would really like to know. So please leave the comment down there. Now I'm going to add some brown colors as well, just to make sure all the elements are going to match. So again, I've got a tea dye and ground espresso. If you're interested in all the products I use in today's video, I left the links in the description down below. So when this is ready, then we can shape our bush. But again, I'm going with the green ink on my ink blending tool, and I'm going to smooth it a little bit. Now I'm going to create the flaps. Again, it has to go to your skull line in the middle. And then I'm going to create those triangles at the ends as well. So when this is ready, you can either use a scoring tool, fold it, and burnish it, or you can cut it the shape of a bush first. The choice is absolutely yours. Have you ever created a scene pop-up card? If you have, what theme was it? I'm really curious, so please let me know in the comments down below. Now I'm going to create that wavy effect with my scissors to make sure it looks like a bush, or let's say a little bit like a bush. So now I'm going to adjust it on the right hand side, and I'm going to place it inside of my card. I'm going to leave a small gap between my bigger element and the smaller one. And the whole trick here is to actually follow the same angle. So I'm going to put the glue on the flap first, then I'm going to repeat it on the other side, and I'm going to have a look at the angle of my first element and line up the scoring line inside of my panel with the inside of the card. Maybe you can't really see here, but I left a very small gap. So the flaps are not going to touch. So as you can see, it actually folds beautifully. Super quick and simple, right? Now, decisions. How are you going to decorate the card? Again, as it is autumn theme, I fussy cut some elements, and I'm going to decorate the card with all of them here. So, from my craft show in Poznan from a couple of weeks ago, I had a beautiful design paper, Woodland from Mintay, and I'm going to fussy cut some of the elements. And I'm going to put them on that scene. So as you can see, they are all ready. And I fussy cut them when I was watching a film. And that is the way for me to do it. How do you fussy cut your elements? Do you do it for every single card? Or do you fussy cut all the elements when you get a new collection? I'm really curious, what's your preference? So the whole trick here is to do a dry run and make sure your scene is going to be visually pleasing and interesting as well. So I'm trying to put all those elements as I want them. I know it's very tricky for you to see them at the moment, but don't worry, I'm going to show you the end effect in a moment. I really wanted to place that raspberry in front of the hedgehog because there are some raspberries just behind him. So I thought that would be a good idea. And the closer to the viewer, the bigger it is. Now I'm going to put some flowers on the right hand side just to fill that space. And also I'm going to add few other elements for extra interest. and the card is going to be nearly completed. But don't forget that we have to decorate the front of the card as well. And it is super easy to do. So our pop-up element works really well. What do you think about this? For the front of the panel, I'm going to use one of the design papers from Brown Mood from Craft the Clock collection. And with the bigger panel, I'm going to add some color as well. So the bigger panel is 5 3/4 by 5 3/4, and the smaller one 5.5 by 5.5 of an inch. Now I'm going to use brown distress oxide ink to add the color on the edges. So in this case, it is ground espresso. So all the elements are going to match on my card. So when this is ready, I'm going to assemble those two squares together, put them at the front of a card. Super quick and simple, right? I really wonder what's your favorite season. I really like autumn. At the moment, the weather in Poland is absolutely amazing. It is like 18 degrees, and the colors on the leaves on the trees are simply gorgeous. Here I've got a couple of leftovers from my previous cards, and I'm going to use them here because why not? But first, I'm going to attach that square at the front, and then I'm going to cut those panels and put them to create very interesting layout. So if you do have any leftovers from your favorite papers, do not throw them away. Always create some interesting elements, and trust me, that makes a real difference on a card. So I'm going to create a couple of rectangles at the top on the right hand side, and also at the bottom on the left hand side for a very nice balance. And I wonder, do you do that as well on your cards? If you don't, maybe today is the day to try something new. I'm starting with the darkest colors first, and then I want a lighter one, and then darker again. When they are ready, I'm going to add some elements that you can see on the left hand side. And again, it's always a good idea to do a dry run first so you know exactly if all the elements are going to fit on your project. I'm going to use my liquid glue because I can maneuver all those elements. And if you've created some autumn theme cards, I wonder how many have you made so far? And have you started your Christmas makes? Or I really wonder how many have you created, because this year I'm going to leave it for a couple of weeks. And maybe I'm going to have a surprise for you very soon. So stay tuned for that. As you can see, I'm going to place that robin here as well. As you know, robins are one of my favorite birds, so I couldn't resist, especially when I saw it on that fussy cat element page. I'm going to add one icon, and this makes it such a big difference here. So as you can see, I'm not going to use lots of dimension because it doesn't really matter here. I really want that pop-up card to just speak for itself. Now I'm going to add some sentiments, and they are coming from SnipArt company. And these are for birthdays. I really like this set. At the moment, it is my favorite. If you've seen my video from the craft show in Poznań, I actually bought quite a lot of them. I'm a huge fan of chipboards at the moment. So now I'm going to cut the excess of that small element, and I'm going to place them at the front of the card, and it's going to be complete. So, super quick and simple. And I really want to encourage you to create some pop-up cards this season. They are simply easy to create and also very effective. So please let me know, what do you think about this finish? Autumn scene pop-up card. As you can see, it gives you lots of dimension. There is plenty of space to write your message on the back, and it goes flat in the envelope. Thank you so much for watching and spending that time with me. Here you can see two other videos in that pop-up autumn theme card series. I really wonder which one is your favorite. Have a wonderful day, happy crafting, and see you in my next video. Bye for now!